Lil People Big World. What is the status of Zach Roloff's relationship with Matt Roloff? Lil People Big World star Zach Roloff provided an update on his relationship with his father, Matt Roloff. The breakdown between Matt and Zach played out on the show over the past few seasons, as they failed to resolve their disagreement over the family property. Zach and his wife, Tori Roloff, have announced they will no longer be appearing on the show, and it seems may be for the best. In a recent episode of his and Tori's podcast, Zach addressed the state of his relationship with his father. Lil People Big World has followed the Roloff family for 25 seasons. The Roloffs own a pumpkin farm in Oregon, where most of the family is employed. Zach's 3 siblings stopped appearing on the show as they grew up and started their own families, leading the spotlight on Zach and Tori. The complex dynamics of working on the farm together while also filming a reality show may have proved too much for Zach and Matt. Their relationship crumbled over business matters, with each side refusing to accept any blame. Zach and Matt previously had a close relationship, as shown on Lil People Big World. They spent a lot of time together working on the family's pumpkin farm, where Zach hosted personal tours of the property. However, a divide emerged within the family when Matt decided to sell the Roloff family farmhouse. Matt had retained the property after his divorce from Zach's mother, Amy Roloff. Matt divided the property and lived in a small double-wide, listing the large house for sale. All members of the Roloff family acknowledged the sentimental value of keeping the house within the family. But when Zach made an offer, Matt refused to budge on the price. The father and son allegedly had some tense discussions, which also included Tori and Matt's fiancée Corinne Chandler. Zach and Tori ultimately gave up on the purchase, and their relationship with Matt was damaged. Matt was never able to find a buyer at his desired price and resorted to listing the home as a short-term rental. Zach and Tori will no longer appear on Lil People Big World, but they are still providing insight into their lives as the parents of 3 young children. They launched their podcast, Raising Heights with Zach and Tori, in early 2024. On their podcast, Zach and Tori discuss parenting, their relationship, and updates about their family. The couple are honest with one another and appear to have a healthy relationship. In the second episode of Raising Heights Season 2, Tori asked Zach questions submitted by listeners. They touched on the history of Zach and Tori's relationship, the status of their house in Battleground, Washington, and their thoughts on parenting. When reflecting on his relationship with his kids, Zach acknowledged that part of growing up is realizing parents are not perfect. Zach said his relationship with Matt is not great, and then added that it's not existent. He explained that after filming for Lil People Big World ended, the family took some time apart, allowing them some space to process. But when the show aired, it stirred up hard feelings nearly a year later. He called his father's denial and lack of accountability narcissism. Tori added that she and Zach do not keep their children away from their grandfather. Zach questioned whether there was more he and his family members could have done to reconcile. It's refreshing to hear him acknowledge that the blame might not be completely on his father. Tori refuted this, saying she thought Zach had tried his best. Zach tends to be too forgiving and must create boundaries with his family. Tori is often criticized for instigating the family divide, but she finds it necessary to encourage Zach to cut off toxic relationships because he can be too passive. As their time on Lil People Big World Season 25 comes to an end, it doesn't sound like Zach and Tori plan to reunite with Matt anytime soon. Once they're no longer forced to relive their disagreements on air, perhaps Zach and Matt will find the space they need to leave the past behind. For now, Zach is standing firm with the boundary he has created, even if it means he no longer has a relationship with his father. Lil People Big World. Signs Tori Roloff's ego's out of control. Is she a diva now? Lil People Big World star Tori Roloff's ego might be out of control since deciding to leave their family reality show. She's the wife of Zach Roloff, the eldest son of the Roloff family. They met at the Roloff family farm in 2010 and wed roughly 5 years later in 2015. Since becoming Zach's wife, Tori has had a much greater presence in Lil People Big World. She first appeared in season 10 when they started dating and has been on the show since. They celebrated their wedding on the show and welcomed 3 children together. Tori has been one of Zach's biggest support systems in his feud with his father. When Matt decided to list the farms, this devastated Zach as he always thought he would take them over. Their feud pushed the couple to move off the Roloff farms to Washington. Tori and Zach left Lil People Big World after season 25, citing that it was time they moved on from the reality TV show and focused on their children. Their departure is one sign that Little People, Big World will end after season 25. Although there is no confirmation about that, Tori has been on a weight loss journey since she started the reality series. The mother of 3 looks great and enjoys posting updates on her social media. Tori posted an Instagram reel joking about having to work out on her page with over 2 million followers. Going to do a stupid workout, she wrote in text over the post. Tori seems totally confident since losing weight. She enjoys posting pictures and videos that highlight her changes for everyone to see. It's clear Tori doesn't need Little People, Big World to show off her transformation. On their joint podcast, Music Heights, the couple explained that the process of building the show was becoming an issue for their family. Their kids, Jackson, and Joseph, have all been a major part of the Big World in recent seasons. Zach and Tori have been open and discussing how all 3 of their children have been diagnosed with dwarfism. After Jackson said he wasn't comfortable filming his doctor's appointments anymore, they reconsidered being on Little People, Big World. However, since announcing their departure, Zach and Tori have continued to talk about the show on the podcast. After 25 seasons, Zach might think it's time for him to be done with the show. He also does not enjoy interacting with his father, which is a major storyline in Little People. Zach and Tori have received backlash from seeing their podcast and the way that they They should be grateful for the platform that they enjoy. Big World has awarded them to be able to start their podcast. Throughout their time in Little People, Big World, Zach and Tori have navigated their issues as a couple. They've been together for nearly 15 years and have welcomed 3 children together. Every couple has disagreements, and Tori has been open about how she sometimes gets frustrated with Zach. On Little People, Big World, Tori said she felt overwhelmed by how much there was in the lives of children and all the inside stories, while Zach primarily handled all the outside activities. She felt like her husband wasn't giving her enough credit and wanted him to step up a bit more. Tori needed more help from Zach, but it's clear that he helped her out a lot. It's normal for couples to have disagreements. As a mother, she needed help with more than just the outside chores that needed to be completed at their home in Washington State. She should be a little bit more patient with Zach. It seems like the former reality star is planning to stay in the spotlight. Though she announced she was done with the show, Tori started her podcast alongside Zach. The podcast generates another source of income for their family, but it also allows them to stay in the reality TV zeitgeist. They discuss the show and the Roloff family on the podcast. If they wanted to get out of the spotlight, leaving Little People, Big World, they could have done so without starting their podcast. Tori has accumulated a massive following since starring on the show. With over 2 million followers on Instagram, she posts a lot of content for her fan base. Tori likes to utilize trending sounds on her Instagram reels. She's used the attention from Little People, Big World to become an influencer. Notably, some of the graphics for their podcast seem extra. Tori, Zach, and the Raising Heights podcast pages placed text that read "Zach almost died" as the episode's thumbnail on Instagram. In the episode, they'd addressed when Zach landed in urgent care in 2023. Zach and Tori have every right to talk about the traumatic experience they went through. However, it was in poor taste to make the thumbnail so graphic. The thumbnail likely generated a lot of clicks and listens because of its absurdity. Tori may be tapping into her reality TV fame to generate a career in influencing for herself. She may be more keen on virtual fame, where she can choose what type of content she posts. Tori might think being an influencer is easier than being a reality TV star. Tori's ego may have inflated since being on Little People, Big World. The former reality TV star has garnered a large fan base since appearing on the TLC show alongside her husband. She's vowed to move on from the show, but continues to stay in the spotlight with her podcast and social media presence.